Hello there, and welcome to Equip for Ministry and Service. And for the next few episodes, we want to focus on leadership. Leadership is key, and particularly, I want to focus on transformational leadership. Well, when God created man, man was created to lead. Well, when God had created everything, the heavens and the earth, the animals, the plants, and everything, then He put man to be in charge. In simple terms, it is managing, it is taking lead, it is influence, it is organizing. All this is leadership. And of course, today we look at leadership in many dimensions, and therefore we want to focus on transformational leadership. And I have no doubt this will impact your life. And somebody may be listening and wondering, am I a leader? Yes, you are. You are not a leader because you have a position. Because there are people who think to be a leader, you have to have a position and you have to have a title. That is not correct. Well, those things follow. But each and every person, you are called, you are created in the image of God, and therefore there is the potential, the leadership potential in your life. And that is why you need to listen to the things I'll be teaching in this program. Now, transformational leadership, if I can begin with a simple definition, what is it all about? What are we talking about when we talk about leadership, and especially transformational leadership? This is a kind or style of leadership in which the leader identifies the needed change. Well, there are many types or kinds of leadership, but this one, the leader identifies the needed change and then creates a vision to guide the change through inspiration and executes the change with the commitment of the members of the group. Now, I think the key thing here, if you don't have to memorize all that, but the key thing here is, and I can say transformational leadership is the kind of leadership that brings change, that identifies the change that is needed and then brings that change. Well, when you look around you, when you look at in our country, when you look at where you live, when you look at business, in the world of business, when you look at church and ministry, there are areas where change is needed. Because again, leadership is not a position, is not a name you're given, it is not a title you're given, because somebody could have a title and they are not doing much. They could have a position and yet they are not doing much. And therefore, let's think about change. Are we seeing change? Are we seeing transformation, as the name suggests? Now, where we transform God's people to become agents of change. Now, in transformational leadership, again, we are saying it goes further to transform other people who are created in the image of God, and helping them to also become agents of change. So what are we saying here? We are saying there is some ripple effect where one person is transformed and then they move forward to transform other people. Well, our life is changed to go and change other people. So we see a ripple effect, and that is very important. I'm very passionate about transformational leadership because I want to see change. I'm the kind of a person that want to see change. Well, I don't want just to be called a leader. I don't want just to hold a position. I don't want just to be given a title after title after title. I don't want to be called the chairman or the manager or the director or the president of this company without change. I would rather not have the title and have change and see things moving and see things being transformed. Now, transformational leadership is also leading to the next level. We are still going through different ways of trying to interpret transformational leadership. It is leading to the next level. Now, leadership comes to play and comes to position to lead people to go to the next level, okay? Because, well, there are people or there are times when people just remain in the same level, in the same position, and people are not moving, things are not moving, things are not changing, and people get weary, people get tired. When things are not moving, when there's no change, when there's no transformation, people get weary, people get tired, and they begin to yearn, they begin to cry for change, they begin to cry for help. Who can bring change, okay? Just like the children of Israel, we can quote from the scriptures where, most of you maybe are familiar with the story of Moses, where the children of Israel were in bondage for over 400 years, 430 to be precise. And when they're in this bondage, they cried, and they were crying and asking, who can help us? They were crying, and they were in a lot of desperation. They were losing hope, and many of them were oppressed, and they were feeling, we need help. And then God appears to Moses, the great man called Moses, and he says to him, I have seen the affliction of my people, and I have heard their cry. Now, therefore, go and deliver them. I like that. Now, God says, I have seen their affliction, and I have heard their cry. When people begin to cry and yearn for change, they are calling for leadership. They are looking for somebody who can bring leadership even to their lives, to bring change. So this kind of leadership leads people to the next level. And maybe you know the story, what happened at that. After that, Moses went to the people, or rather he went to the king, to Pharaoh, and spoke to him. He had to go back 10 times, and then finally they were released. And they began the journey of transformation, of course, through the wilderness to go to the promised land. Now, it is so important to bring change in our communities, in the family. That's why I said all of us, we are called to be leaders. You could be leading in the family. You could be leading in business. You could be leading in ministry or mission or in politics and many other ways. You could be a teacher. You're a leader. You could be a manager somewhere. You're a leader. You could be working in a bank or a financial institution. You are a leader. So all of us, we are leading in one way or another. Why do I say that? It is because leaders make decisions. Leaders make decisions. So there's no leadership that does not make decision. Now, you've heard people say, the bus stops with the leadership or with the leaders. Because when things are not going the right way and a decision needs to be made, it is a leader who comes out to decide or ask people, where do we go, or give people direction. Because without leadership, without people being guided, then people get confused. So in other words, leadership eliminates confusion, because without leadership, then people get confused and everybody decides to go everywhere. Leadership also brings order. Okay? And where there is no order, of course, there is confusion. So because, again, when there's no leadership, then you find people are disorderly, people are confused, people are going to every direction, people are scattered because there is no leadership. That's why we also have leadership in a country like Kenya to bring order, to bring sanity. There's a verse in the Bible, I don't remember where it is, where the Bible says there was a time when there was no king in Israel, so everybody did what was right in their own eyes. So you can imagine a country, a family, a business, an institution, a place, a college where there is no leadership, where everybody does what they feel like doing. I mean, it will be chaos, there will be a lot of commotion, there will be confusion. I mean, you can't run an institution where there is no leadership. You can't just let people be, even in the family. The father, God ordained that the man is the head of the family, and there are children, there's a wife, and there's a family unit that, is probably the smallest unit of all others. So even in that, whether you go to a school, you go to a college, you go to a nation, you go to any institution, there is leadership. When you watch children You watch maybe children when they are playing outside and you have 10 children or 15 children. You can always tell there's some leadership there. There's somebody who will always say, let's move this way, let's do it this way, let's sit here, let's now stand, let's run, let's do this. It is all leadership. So leadership is very key. Now, the other thing I want to say about leadership is that leadership is a process. Leadership is a process. It's not a destination. So you can't say I have been in the journey of leadership and now I have arrived. It's not a destination. It is a process from one level to another. It's like a stairway where you climb the stairway from one step to the next step to the next step to the next step. It's like an elevator or ladder that goes up and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. So leadership is a process. Now, you learn as you lead. You learn as you lead. You know, I remember many years ago there was a program here started by some friends that they called read to lead. Read to lead. In other words, you read, you study, so that you can become an effective leader. So leadership is a process, meaning there's a journey. There's some growth that is needed. It is a process from one level, from one place, going to another place, going to another place. Even Moses, that I quoted earlier, he did not complete that process. And you know, later on, Joshua came in when Moses died, and he's the one who led the children of Israel through Jordan, even to the land of promise. So God ordained that there be leadership, whether in the country, in the family, in business, in institutions, in church, in ministry, and all that. In the book of Ephesians chapter 4, and where the Bible talks about he gave some to be apostles, others to be prophets, others to be pastors, evangelists, and teachers. That is in Ephesians chapter 4. So he gave some to be. That is leadership. That is structure. Because again, leadership does not operate in a vacuum. It operates within a structure. So he gave some to be apostles, or these are offices. These are not titles. You know, today somebody can be called this title or the other. These are offices. So there's the office of the apostle, the office of the prophet, the office of the pastor, evangelist, and even the office of the teacher. So all these are offices. They are not titles. They are offices. So that, and down there the Bible says that so that they can equip the body of believers. So that the body of believers, the saints, are equipped to be effective in doing the work of the ministry. So that when you have this fivefold ministry, the five offices, they manage the leadership and they provide direction so that the saints are led and they are properly organized. Because, you know, the Bible continues to say, if that doesn't happen, so what happens? Then people, believers, will be tossed back and forth. That's what the Bible says. It's like when you see something in the water, in the ocean. If you go to Mombasa, you see the way the waves move. They come and go, and the waves can go where the wind is going. So they will go to the east, west, north, and south. They come up, they deflate, they go down, they come up, and all that. So people, believers, people who have who do not have proper leadership, what happens is that they can be tossed back and forth. And maybe in one way or another, you have seen people that have been, tossed like that, people that have no direction, no proper foundation, people that have been, people who are not secure, people who are misused, misguided, there is confusion and all that, because people do not honor this kind of leadership. So it's very important to understand that leadership is a process. It eliminates confusion, and again, it brings order. It brings organization. That's why organizations are called organizations. When you talk, I work for this organization, I work for this organization. Why? Because there is a way things are organized in that particular organization, okay? There's a way that business is organized, there's a way that institution is organized, because there is leadership. So that is very, very crucial. So leadership is needed. It is a very crucial element of our being. Without leadership, then there will people will be tossed back and forth. People can be taken advantage of. People can be deceived. People can be destroyed. People can hurt themselves because everybody will be doing what they think is right in their own eyes, and of course, their judgment will be wrong. But where there is proper structures of leadership, that's why God ordained in the church there is government, in the family there is government, and who is the head of this government, in the country there is government, because that government is not there to lord over people. It is actually to bring, for the purpose, for the sake of bringing order. That's why even in the church there is government, to bring order. Otherwise, if people came to church or in a gathering or in a meeting, then that's why whenever you go to any meeting, there's a chairman, there's a leader, there's somebody who will coordinate. You go to an event, there is even the MC, he's a leader. So anywhere you go, there is leadership, so that there can be proper organization, so that there can be displayed order, excellence, and discipline. People are able to do things in a certain manner of way, let alone we'll come back and talk more about some of these things deeper, like discipline, talk about order, talk about excellence. We will talk about those things deeper, but for now we are trying to justify the need for leadership and for you also to grow in your leadership journey. And again, I said earlier at the beginning, because many people ask, are leaders born or are leaders made? And the answer that I would give is that both. They are, of course, born, but also leaders are made. In other words, if you want to become an effective leader, you also need to expose yourself to proper structures of leadership. Now, if you're going to stay without, where there is, where there is confusion, where there is no proper structures of leadership, if you go work in a place, or you are exposed, or you live in a place, or you worship in a place where there is no proper structures of leadership, then there will be chaos, there will be confusion. People don't know what to expect. Where there's no proper structures, people don't know, and people, human beings are habitual. Human beings want to know, what do we expect? If somebody is going through this, what do we expect? If somebody is going through sickness, what do we expect? That's why we have hospitals, and even in the church, we have different departments. If somebody is a youth, they know where to belong. If they're women, they have, they have the women fellowship. If it is a man, they have the men fellowship. Children, again, there is leadership. All this, so that everybody will belong. So leadership, in simple terms, it also helps people to belong. People feel they have the sense of ownership, where you feel, I belong and I own. I belong and I own. I own this. I am not just here to pass time. I'm not here feeling like I'm stranded. I don't know where I am. I don't know who I am. No, I am here so that also I also belong, and I also have some level of ownership. So where there's proper structures of leadership, it's not one-man show, because the definition I read at the beginning is that it executes the change with the commitment of the members of the group, meaning where there is leadership, others are also rising, and they can now exercise their gifts, their calling, their abilities, their potential within a given structure. Now, you don't want to be a leader and all you do everything, or rather you are all alone, where you do everything by yourself. That's not proper leadership. Again, going back to the story of Moses, one time he was visited by his father-in-law, Jethro, and Jethro looked at him and he said, Moses, the way you're doing things, I can see you work so hard from morning till evening. And of course, everybody will want to be commended that you work hard. I see you're working hard. But he said, it can be done in a better way. Why? Because Moses would have hundreds of people, thousands of people. He's the only one taking care of them, thinking, I'm the leader, I'm the anointed one, I'm the called one. And then he was getting exhausted. And what Jethro said was that, if I can try to remember what he said, was that he said, if you continue in this manner, one or two things will happen. One, you will be so tired, exhausted. Number two, these people will also be exhausted because they come here, they queue. If you have to see hundreds of people every day, some will be disappointed. You'll be tired. It is over. Tell them, come tomorrow. Again, they come tomorrow that day. Maybe somebody may have to queue for a week before they can see you. I don't know that you have ever been to a place where, people, the waiting time is too long. You are told to come at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and you wait. It is 10 o'clock, it is noon, it is 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and you're wondering, nobody even is explaining what is happening. I mean, what happens is that people get frustrated. And you can tell, sometimes people will go to the counter or whoever they see and they say, what is happening here? Nobody is saying anything. Nobody is telling us what is happening. Because people want explanation. People don't want to be somewhere where they cannot predict what is happening. They have no clue. They have no understanding. They don't know what is going on. So people don't want that. People want where it's predictable. I'm told to come and maybe I'll be here for an hour or 2 hours so that I can go. I'm able to plan. Because again, where there's no proper leadership and you're told to come do something, and then you're there for, even when you go to a restaurant, you don't go there and you order a meal, then you wait for 3 hours, you wait for 4 hours. No. Somebody will be angry and leave and go. You want to, the waiter says 30 minutes, 20 minutes, then they keep it. But I have been to places where somebody says 20 minutes and takes a whole hour. Of course, you go out frustrated and sometimes you decide, I will never come back here. So leadership. And then you look and that's a kind of a setting, maybe that restaurant. The problem is leadership, because maybe the manager who is there, they are not doing their work. If you tell somebody 20 minutes, if it exceeds maybe 5 minutes, but not another 20, 30 minutes over the time that you promised. So Moses, was told by Jethro, be careful because you will die. You'll be frustrated, you'll be tired. People will be frustrated, they will be tired. You are likely to die young, because you are carrying you're carrying all these burdens of these people, and this is not right. So he gave him very good advice, and he said, delegate the work. Choose among the people 70 of them, pray for them, lay your hands on them. The Spirit in you will come upon them, and they will help you with the work, so that they bring to you only the very decisions that are very difficult for them. Moses got this wisdom, and he said, wow, this is exciting. And of course, after that, he lived longer. He would have died young and early because of carrying too much of a burden. So leadership, where there are proper structures of leadership, you realize that people do not have to carry all the burdens by themselves. People delegate. That's why the president of Kenya has a cabinet, there is a parliament, there is a senate, all this going down. There are MPs, there are MCAs, there are governors, there are all those people. There are so many other people working in all those offices and all that. Why? So that the work is much easier and everybody is doing their part. So leadership is key. So my point is that, as I close, is that decide you want to grow. Determine that you want to grow in your leadership journey. Don't stagnate. Do not remain in the same position. Well, you may have started somewhere, but you need to grow. You need to improve. You need to get the skills, reading relevant books, listening to this kind of study and teaching, so that you can continue to grow and sharpening your skills in leadership. And over the years, you can become a better leader. You know how to make the right decisions and how to help people, and people will be happy, because when the leaders do their part, okay, when the leaders do their part, when they are successful, when they bring order, there is efficiency, there is excellence, everybody is happy. That's why some people will be happy and will be looking forward to work in a certain institution, in a certain business, a certain company, because they see order, they see orderliness, they see excellence, they see, things here are organized. But there are places, even if you're told to work for free, you don't want to work there. Even if they pay you too much money, you don't want to work there. Why? Because there are chaos, there is no organization, there is no planning, you don't know what time to come in or when time to leave and all that. So, well, that's about leadership. We'll pick it there from there. And in the next program, we'll talk about dimensions of transformational leadership. Thank you so much for joining me in this program, which is Equip for Ministry and Service. And of course, much more than that. And ministry is not just within church, ministry, wherever you are, even those in the marketplace, it is also ministry that you're doing. In the family, it's ministry, because ministry is about people touching lives and changing lives. Thank you, and God bless you.